Breakfast puppies?
This podcast contains adult language and content and is meant for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Glitterbois.
All right, my friends, we are back. The evolution of DB421 continues at a breakneck pace. Today, we're going to be going through the OCCs, the Occupational Character Classes. This is, if you knock off the Occupational Character and you've played D&D, this is your class. This is what gives you your bonuses that affect your stats. This is what tells you how many skills you have, what your alignment, your experience progression is. All that stuff is found here. Now, we already know what DB421 has for an alignment, has for a OCC. He's a dog boy. We're going to go through the OCCs of the Rifts Ultimate Edition. Now, it should be noted that there are literally hundreds more throughout all the books of Palladium. But we figure if you're listening to Rifts, you have this book. We're doing the Ultimate Edition of Rifts. Now, what you're going to want to do is flip with us here to page 43, and it has the general list of the occupational character classes. They are subdivided into groups, basically. You have your men-at-arms, your adventurers and scholars, your practitioners of magic, your psychics. You have a racial character class, which for this purpose is kind of the same. And then you have your coalition soldiers. Now, the dog boy falls under that last one, but we'll get to that in a sec.
Technically, the dog boy falls under psychics in this book. I think it may have in the original, but here it's one of the PCCs. And I think it's because they are encouraging players to go for feral dog boys or non-coalition, because you can play a dog boy that's escaped. Yeah.
Wait, where is it in this? Oh, right, psychic.
I know, right? It says coalition, but it puts it under psychics. It's psyching you out.
That's like weird.
Yeah.
I will say that there was the first edition of Rifts was much more coalition centric. Like the coalition was like 3/4 of it. In the Ultimate Edition, I feel that the coalition has been placed as one bad group among many. It's still a major force, and it's still, hugely described. In the art, its presence feels less.
I feel the same, and I am okay with that. I think that the focus with the Ultimate Edition is to let players know that there's more than just North America. And even though they don't really go much into the dangers beyond that, the fact that they don't put the coalition so central, the fact that there are fewer pages dedicated to the coalition. Yes, the coalition is iconic and they are there for villains for you to fight, but you don't need to focus on them. And I like that it illustrates that by minimizing their existence.
Yeah, there's plenty to do in Rifts without using the traditional baddie. Should we, let's go through these and talk very briefly about each one?
Yeah, quick overview.
All right. Starting at the Men-at-Arms, we have Combat Cyborg, full conversion.
They are badass. They are ridiculously badass.
You're a brain in a bottle stuffed inside a Terminator.
Yep.
You are a humanoform robot with a sentient meat brain. And there's so much you can do in bionics and robot attachments and different strengths. It's a very customizable class.
But if you want an example, turn to page 105 and you can see one of the most iconic pieces of classic Rifts art from Kevin Long of the bright red full conversion Borg stalking towards you.
The one in the ruins? Yeah. I actually had this photocopied from a 90s photocopier. So it was, real high quality, stuffed in the school binder front when I was a kid. It was very cool. But
yes, Borg. They robot body,
Yeah.
human brain, gadgets, armor, big guns, run really fast, hit really hard.
Then you have Crazy NPC. Would you like to take the Crazy?
Short version is the Crazy is a nickname for a character that has something called a mom implant, aka mind over matter, which gives them psychic abilities and superhuman strength and speed. And they're just incredibly fast, incredibly strong, very, very powerful combat characters who over time get crazier and crazier as the beans that are implanted in their brains burrow and embed deeper and deeper, driving them nuts. Insanity after quirk are just piled on.
As we've spoken of before, Palladium lovingly deals with insanity. There are tables and tables and tables and causes and effects and varying degrees and different psychoses and just all they enjoy their nuts. You will also have round things stuck in your head if the art is to be believed.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have the Cyber Knight.
Cyber Knights are like Jedi, kind of.
Yeah, very much so. In fact, down to the sword. Yeah, that's a great class to do. You will probably be a wandering Ronin type. There are Cyber Knight organizations, and you can find out more about that in various Rift games. This gives a basic overview.
But yeah, you have a magic sword that grows out of your hand because it's psychic, and you have psychic armor, and you go around doing good things. You are the wandering hero of the Rift setting.
Yeah.
And next we have
another wandering hero,
the Glitterbois,
a knight errant. Glitterbois, we've talked about it. Go back, see it. The Glitterbois is badass.
It's why we chose our name.
Yeah.
Then we have the Headhunter. Now, the Headhunter, to me, is one of the classes that has changed the most since the original edition. If I remember correctly, the original Headhunter was basically a mercenary soldier. And they now made them into these half cybernetic, just murder things, which I think is kind of cool, actually. They turned them into these technophile wasteland warriors. And they're brutal.
Yeah.
They're not as powerful as Borgs, but I think they're more versatile.
And they're less pure mind. I mean, you can still you still have access to your emotions. You still have access to your gonads. I mean, your motivations have changed, So it's different if you want some of the power of the combat cyborg, but not, you still want to retain some of what makes you a living thing.
And coming up next,
we have the Methadone Addicts.
Palladium does not condone the usage of drugs. And now we have the Juicer, a drug warrior.
Yes. Yeah. the goggle wearing street samurai looking motherfucker.
Yeah, they are essentially meth addicts who they use combat meth with a harness that delivers the combat meth and makes them super powerful and super awesome. But they burn out very quickly. Yeah. I think average lifespan is like 2 to 5 years once you've undergone the conversion.
It's not pretty. That said, as they say in the description, the flame that burns the brightest burns the shortest. You don't have a lot of time. Go for the gusto. Yeah, it's a drug warrior. But that's really all it is. It's think of the stories of combat drugs from World War II and then amplify it and give it an exosuit and you have a juicer.
The final two classes under Men-at-Arms, you might look at them and just think generic classes. And in a way, they kind of are. The Merc Soldier is just your fighter. It's basically guys good at guns, versatile skill set, but that's about it. However, the Robot Pilot is important because there are more suits of armor than just the Glitterbois.
So many more.
And the Robot Pilot starts the game with like 3 of them. While the Glitterbois has the Glitterbois, the Robot Pilot is similar, but they have an assortment of robots and power armor that they can swap between. And that's what makes them so awesome.
All right, that kind of wraps up the Men-at-Arms part, but don't worry, there's a ton more. We have adventurers and scholars, and I'm looking at the time, and we're going to move a little faster now.
These are all characters that are basically built around skill sets that don't involve murdering things.
Yeah.
You know, you've got your doctors, some of which are focused on the body, such as the body fixer, and some of which are more focused on cybernetics, such as the cyberdoc.
You have your wise urchin class. You have like the vagabond and the city rat.
Mm-hmm. Which may seem like wasted classes. You know, like, why would anybody play a vagabond when you can play
Please
a
see
Glitterbois?
Vagabond episode.
Yeah, they're just because they do not mechanically balance out to the others does not mean they are not fun, fine role-playing opportunities that can bring wondrous events to a campaign.
Yeah. Then you have some of your more outdoorsy types. You have like the wilderness scout, the operator. These are just skilled operatives, basically.
One's about trees and forests and animals, and one's about machines.
Yeah. And then you have your men of learning. You have your rogue scientists and rogue scholars. Do not underestimate what you can do to an illiterate population if you have the word. Rogue scholars and rogue scientists are powerful forces in Rifts. A lot of the societies in Rifts deal with compartmentalizing information, and you have to remember that this isn't a literate society. Knowledge is either passed down or specially trained. You don't have a K through 12 here. You know, there's the base level of skills that we assume don't exist. So do not write these characters off just because they do not start with a big damn gun.
And what's fascinating is if you are the kind of player who likes having a lot of skills, the rogue scholar and the rogue scientist are what to pick. They have the largest selection of optional skills.
Then we get into splodies. The head splodies.
We can talk for hours about Palladium's magic system. Needless to say, they do, in the first book, present some interesting options for characters who want to be magicians.
There is a variety of ways. You're not looking at like a D&D wizard or warlock. You are looking at elementalists. You are looking at people who use the raw power of the rifts itself to both travel and fight and move with the leyline walkers and the leyline rifters. There's mystics. There's a shifter, which is basically just another traveler.
I would say that of the core classes presented, the line walker and the mystic are the closest that you might peg the wizard label on.
Right.
They're the ones that are most focused on having spells and abilities. Whereas the line walker, you know, they wear the gas mask in all the classic pictures and they cast a shitload of spells. The mystic has spells, but also psychic powers. And if you want to play a character who is, I'm the spellcaster, one of those two are going to be your best fit, at least limited to the core book.
Then you have something interesting. That is the Techno Wizard. That is someone who will take a device and power it and change it through the use of magic. This is the closest thing I can get to a D&D is think gnome. You know?
Yeah, artificers kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get the fusionist, and the fusionist is weird. I don't quite understand it. I got a player playing one in the other game, and the powers are okay. She's doing a good job, but it's clear that she wants more to do because the fusionist is so weird. It was put in as a cross promotion with the insanely popular flying off the shelves Nokia Engage video game, Rift's Promise of Power. The one that, you know, we all own a copy of because it was that popular, right? But it was put in as a cross promotion. And now 16 years later, I still don't understand the existence of this class or its purpose. And I just try and forget about it.
Before we move on, I have a question. Which of these classes uses the magic cauldron?
None of them.
God damn it. You know, they really should have brought it forward.
The enchanted fucking cauldron is a Palladium fantasy spell. Yeah.
Okay. Moving forward, we have different magic. We have mind magic. We have psychics.
Really, only one of them is what you would think of as like a mind mage, and that's the mind melter. They are just mutant humans that have crazy psychic powers. Insanely powerful psychic powers. That's their whole shtick.
A lot of these other ones, like the Psy Stalker specifically, you're going to think you don't really want that unless you're playing in a campaign that would cater itself to it. Now, the good news is that Rifts can do that. Rifts can cater itself to any kind of campaign. You don't just enter a dungeon and kill monsters room by room. But that's a very specific.
Yeah. You have the Burster, which is just set shit on fire 24/7. That's just their thing. They like fire. You have the Dog Boys and the Psy Stalkers, which are both introduced as coalition-aligned characters, but they also have feral or wild variants of them. But they are essentially psychic hunters.
Yeah.
One is just a dog and one is a human vampire-like thing. Literally.
That brings us to the racial character class. You just want to skip over that?
Oh, yeah. We don't need to talk about dragons. Everybody knows about dragons.
Yeah. You can play dragons and Rifts.
These are hatchling dragons, by the way.
Yeah. They're wee dragons, but they're still badass. I
think they average being about 12 days old by the time but the game begins. And they're still badass. They are mega damage tanks. Versatile in magic. Very interesting. If you want somebody that's playing a 20-foot long 12-day-old dragon who sometimes transform into a human, and you could make that work, Rifts has you covered.
Then we move into the CS peoples, the Death Heads, the Skull Boys. We have the Coalition Grunt.
And the Coalition Grunt sucks butts. It is the shittiest character class in the book, I must say. You think the Vagabond, Vagabond, you look at him, a Vagabond's actually kind of badass. Coalition Grunt sucks. Their skill selection sucks. Their only thing is that there's a lot of them, and the Coalition has good gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there as a player character, and I honestly don't understand why.
Well, if you go and look at the Coalition book, I think it's World Book 11, which is the Coalition War Campaign, they have other Coalition classes like Special Forces and Rangers and whatnot. And they also have CS City Police. A CS City Police could kick the ass of like 12 grunts single-handedly. Like, come on.
Yeah, this is kind of like the RCMP. It's one riot, one mountie.
Yeah.
Then you have the Flying Boys. You have the Samuses. They're cool. Yeah. The art for them has always been nice.
Skulls with wings and guns.
Yeah. The Coalition Military Specialist and Technical Officer. That's what you have for your OCCs. Now, what we rolled can go into any one of these.
I think so.
Now, do you want to talk a little bit about why we wanted a dog boy for this? Or would that give away?
Well, we wanted a dog boy because for this process, I wanted us to showcase the many different steps of character creation in as versatile a way as possible. And of all the OCCs in the core book, the dog boy has all of the pre-class steps. It has all of the class steps. It has possible psychic powers. Like it covers almost all of the topics. So it's a good overview of the different components of character creation.
Right. Do they have access to bionics?
They might have access to cybernetics, but off the top of my head, without opening the book to that page, I don't think they get bionics. Bionics is really just gear, though.
Yeah. So that's what we have. What we're going to do next is we're going to show you, because the OCC isn't just saying, I'm a paladin and I get this at this level and I get this at this level. An OCC is fairly complicated. So we're going to start off by running the OCC in character creation for the next episode.
Yep. From beginning all the way up to the skills, I believe. And we'll save the skills for later.
Then we're going to cut over to skills.
Yeah.
All right. So stick with us for the next time. We are over halfway done with this fella.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, this is probably moving faster than it ever has during character creation for me.
And we're also stopping to talk about it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Oh, wait.
One last thing. This is it, isn't it?
This is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to?
Hey.
Yeah.
No, you do it.
Okay. Well, we just want to wish happy birthday to Kevin Siembieda, whose birthday should be tomorrow after this episode releases.
Yeah. We've talked a little bit about the way that Palladium is made, a lot of people have worked on it, but there was one guiding hand at the helm, and that person was Kevin Siembieda. And it's his birthday tomorrow. So everyone wish him happy birthday.
Yep. Happy birthday, man. We have a mailing address. We'll send you some Glitterbois swag.
Oh, absolutely. Let's do that. All right. Now we can sign off.
Good night, folks.
All right. Bye.
You've been listening to The Glitterbois, a Palladium Books fan podcast. Glitterbois, Rifts, the Megaverse, and all other such topics are the property of Kevin Siembieda and Palladium Books. Please buy all their stuff and help keep them in print and making more games. You can order directly at palladiumbooks.com, and their entire catalog is available digitally at Drive-Thru RPG as well. Our opening music is 8-Bit Bass and Lead by Furby Guy from freesound.org. This closing music is Caravana by Philip Gross, available at freemusicarchive.org. All sound effects used are self-made or acquired via Creative Commons 0 license. If you like what you have heard, find us on Twitter and Facebook as The Glitterbois. That's BOIS. And check us out online at breakfastpuppies.com/glitterbois. And also join us on the Breakfast Puppies Network Discord at breakfastpuppies.com/discord. And if you want to help us out, please spread the word and help us build a community. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next time.